Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Sylvester here. We are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of the forms of the Mario Kart series of Let's Plays. Today, we're about to be doing our brand new redo Let's Play for our channel. This time around, we are about to be redoing Mario Kart 8, specifically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, for the Nintendo Wii U. First came out in 2014, and then 3 years later that the Deluxe version of Mario Kart 8 has been released about 2 years ago from 2017, which is known as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. So, for the majority of this Let's Play, if you guys can clearly tell, we are going to be playing for the Switch version for the majority of the time. Whilst there are some exceptions though, but we'll get into that whenever we continue proceeding for this entire Let's Play of this game. Now, we did done this back in 2014, all the way up to 2015, due to the fact that they actually contains, you know, some DLC content back in 2015 on the Wii U version. However though, at the end of the day, whenever we did manage to look up our old Let's Play of this game, specifically Mario Kart 8, the original game on the Wii U, in the end though, the quality itself is a little bit more, well, mediocre at best. And then as far as commentary goes, well, the sound mixing on the old original Let's Play has been pretty bad. So as a result for this kinds of stuff, hopefully for this time around though, we are able to make the quality even much more nicer than before, and especially noticeable that the commentary should be a little bit more, well, pretty much mixed. So either way, yeah, as we said before, is the fact that the majority of this Let's Play is going to be mainly focusing on, well, the Switch version most likely, because we were going to do the Wii U version for the majority of it, but in the end, I feel like the Nintendo Switch version was actually a little bit more, well, how should I say, superior than the likes of the Wii U version back then, because, well, we'll get to that as soon as we discuss on that. So either way, because as you can see on the menu selection screen, I actually kind of prefer the menu screen over to the likes of the Wii U version, because I don't know, something about the Wii U version seems to be a little bit more disorganized or anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we enjoy the game still on the Wii U, but it's just that so many little questionable design choices they actually put up with it. So, and obviously if you can see on screen that we actually got ourselves the Nintendo Labo toy cons, which we were going to show those off, but it actually requires a lot of emphasis on construction work, which either way, this also means it'll pretty much be a waste of money for us though anyway though, so we're probably not going to show that off. So, and also, much like the forms of how it does it on the Wii U version, if you play, it doesn't really matter what version you'll be playing, either the Switch version or the Wii U version, is that you're still able to actually access the amiibo functionality, which unlike in the Wii U version, you do have to do a little bit of an update going on around here. Whilst on the Switch version, it basically gets it unlocked from the get-go. So either way, much like in any other Mario Kart Let's Plays, specifically Mario Kart DS, Wii, and 7, the main focus is here is the fact that we like to show off a whole bunch of different modes. Like, for instance, we're going to start things up with Grand Prix to start off with, and after that, we'll show off the battle mode in this game. In fact, the main biggest point about this particular point is the fact that we're going to be focusing on the Switch version for the majority of this Let's Play, in comparison to the Wii U version, is that, as you can tell, the battle system, or in this case the battle mode system, has been significantly different in between the Wii U version than the likes of the Switch version. So, but then again, we'll get into that as soon as we're able to continue our progression for this for the most part. So as you can see, we've got the usual classes from the likes of the previous Mario Kart games returning, like 50cc, 100cc, 150cc, as well as 150cc mirror. However, that wasn't the only classes that do make a return. They also add in a new class to the table, and that is, of course, the 200cc, which basically, as you can see on screen, it tells you, say, like the fact that we're actually going to be doing super fast or what have you. However, though, here's the thing about this class, though. We're probably not going to show that off until, whenever we show that off, until the versus mode, which either way, Because much like in any other Mario Kart Let's Plays from the past, well, the only couple of exceptions, which is the first 4, so either way though, we're going to be mainly focusing on 150cc for the majority of the Grand Prix. So let's go and jump right in, and as far as character roster, as far as I'm concerned, well, if you couldn't tell, if you ever play us on the Wii U version for starters, you do realize it's the fact that you start things off with 16 playable characters, then if you continue progression onto your, well, Grand Prix as far as I'm aware, then the more characters you will unlock, and vice versa. And also on the Wii U version, they add in some DLC content, and for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as you can see, holy macaroni, we got a whole lot more characters than the likes of how it does it from the previous entries this time around, including Mario Kart 7, because despite Mario Kart 7 only has like 17 racers, despite because of the limitations of the handheld. So, but either way though, as you can see, we still got the usual, well, the usual racers like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina makes their return, as well as Yoshi, Toad, Koopa Troopa, and as well as the forms of Wario, Donkey Kong, and Bowser makes its debut once again since the previous installment, which is Mario Kart 7. But in addition with that, Shy Guy makes his return ever since in Mario Kart 7 as well, in addition with Lakitu as well. Long time with the forms of the baby characters, most notably with Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, and especially noticeable with Baby Daisy, makes their return ever since in Mario Kart Wii. Same applies for Toadette, especially as well. And also same applies for Waluigi, because despite Waluigi makes his cameo appearances on during the likes of in the Waluigi Pinball course from Mario Kart 7, well, at least he's now finally makes his debut as a playable character once again after Mario Kart Wii was being released. So, in addition with those characters makes their return, we got some newcomers to the lineup. Like, for instance, we got the Koopalings, ranging from Larry, Lemmy, Iggy Koopa, as well as Ludwig von Koopa, as well as Roy Koopa, and Modern Koopa, and Winnie Koopa. Seriously, that's all 7 of those Koopalings, which is pretty insane if you ask me. And also we got some obscure ones, like for instance we got ourselves Baby Rosalina out of nowhere without any sort of like outside existence, and also we got the worst racer in the whole game, which is Pink Gold Peach. Why did they manage to include Pink Gold Peach to begin with? I have no idea why, but thankfully though he has been replaced, well, usually Peachette on Mario Kart Toy has been like replacing Pink Gold Peach, which that's pretty good, but it's also kind of a little bit more optimistic throughout. I don't know why do I truly say that. And also, as you can see on screen, we actually got ourselves some of these DLC characters to the lineup. Like for instance, we got the cosmetic costumes for Tanuki Mario and Cat Peach. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about the fact that Gold Mario, Metal Mario makes his return ever since in Mario Kart 7 as a playable debut again, and also the returning characters from Mario Kart Wii also present, like for instance we got King Boo and Dry Bones and Bowser Jr., but however though, those 3 characters are going to be the Switch exclusive characters, and also then we got ourselves not only with the addition with those Mario character rosters and all that stuff, we also got ourselves these Nintendo guest characters, ranging from The Legend of Zelda to Animal Crossing, and exclusive to the Switch version, which is the Splatoon series, which, we'll get to that as soon as we're able to actually, get on with the actual other uploads for this game though, so. And also returning from the likes of Mario Kart 7 is the kart customization, which basically, once again, you can able to actually just, depends on what kart combinations you're going to be using, either the kart body parts, or the tires, or the wheels essentially, or the gliding system, which either way, tells you the status between speed, acceleration, weight, handling, and grip, or traction if you play this on the USA version, and, yeah, it plays out exactly like how it did in Mario Kart 7, it's just that, well, for the first time ever, you can be able to do that on the console Mario Kart game, which I think is pretty swell if you ask me. So either way though, the more you unlock more of those parts, then you are able to improve your status and all that stuff. And also you got these 3 little options on this disposal right here, like for instance we got the smart driving, which I think this is only, it's only exclusive to the Switch version, and also there is a, automatically driving forward, and also tilting controls or the analog mode, which at this point in time, we're going to be using the GameCube controller for the GameCube controller adapter, because it works so well, which we'll get to that as soon as we get into the actual main gameplay. So, in addition with the Kart combinations makes its return, we also got ourselves, oh my goodness gracious, we got 12 cups in the forms of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which appears to be we got ourselves still returning ones, like for instance we got the Nitro Grand Prix, and especially noticeable with Retro cups here and there as well, and we got ourselves like, Mushroom, Flower, Star, Special Cup, as well as the retro cups like Shell Cup, Banana Cup, Leaf Cup, and Lightning Cup. In addition with those cups returning, we got these 4 brand new ones to its disposal on the Wii U version's DLC, or unlock right from the get-go on the Switch version. We have the Egg Cup, Crossing Cup, and Triforce Cup, and finally the Bell Cup. And just like before, we'll go those in a chronological order. So to kick things off, let's begin with, of course, the Mushroom Cup, which we have somewhat between Mario Kart Stadium, as well as Water Park, and Sweet Sweet Canyon, and the final track is Thwomp Ruins. So of course the first track we're going to be racing into is of course Mario Kart Stadium, as you can clearly see. It's a little bit more different from the likes of traditional circuits from the likes of the previous entries in the series, which is pretty cool if you ask me, because they actually did something a little bit more different. So yeah, if you, this is how the gameplay works in during the likes of Mario Kart 8, at least depending of what version you're going to be playing. And of course, we are going to be playing this on the Switch version, because the actual quality in this game is actually a little bit more higher in comparison to the forms of the Wii U version, because, well, it usually gets like 1080p at all times in comparison to 720p on during the Wii U version, as far as I'm aware. But even that, though, it's a really nice little gorgeous looking way to able to see that in action. So basically, if you ever played any other Mario Kart games before, specifically Mario Kart 7, because the reason why we say that, because if you can't tell already, as you can see on certain parts of the actual track, mainly with the first track in the game most likely, Sonic, that was the fact that we got the returning hang gliding segments, which basically, if you come across into these blue ramps, which basically very similar to the forms of Mario Kart 7, where you can able to actually drive in the skies. So either way, that's actually pretty cool though, especially because this time around though, this is now in HD, rather than on the forms of the handheld department, which this game still usually gets like a, specifically on the Nintendo Switch version, is that you can able to play on the go and stuff like that, make it a little bit more of a true definitive way playing this, which I think is a perfect example of that. And also, as you can see on screen, not only do we able to get ourselves the forms of the new gimmick or the new aspect of Mario Kart 8 has been introduced on the Wii U version most likely, now it's the forms of the anti-gravity mode, which basically, if you come across into those little flat blue surface on the forms of certain parts of the road, this means you can able to actually just drive onto the wall, or the ceiling, or everything, which I think this really did actually like amaze me when this game first announced it back in E3 2013. Now I was super excited to see how the fact that if some new stuff is may actually handles on during the Mario Kart 8 as far as the Wii U game, because sure enough, that particular game did first came out, as I said before, in 2014 during the likes of on the Wii U, but then it's during about 3 years later that we actually got ourselves Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. For those who have not even owned the Wii U just yet, or even not exactly owned the Wii U at all, well, we're most able to actually discuss on that as we continue proceeding for this Let's Play, And as you can see on screen right now, we are now going to be playing through the second course in Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That is called Water Park, which I think is actually a very cool track in theory. This is probably because we're actually going to be introducing to ourselves, well, not only with the forms of, as I said before, anti-gravity, but it's also the fact that we got ourselves the returning elements from the likes of Mario Kart 7, which once again, it allows you to able to actually drive underwater. which I think it really helps, because either way though, that makes certain tracks super unique. In fact, out of all the actual Nintendo Switch games at this point in time, for those of you who probably already know about this at this point, this game did manage to able to top on the rank number 1 when it comes to the forms of the selling points on the Nintendo Switch department, which I think is super impressive. But as soon as when it gets to later on throughout the entirety of the year in 2019, well, things will start to change a little bit once it progresses through each days and stuff, which we might as well find out until that time, but either way though, we'll find things out whenever we find some results here. And also, as you can see on screen, that, this is on in a Switch version of the game rather than on the Wii U, because you notice there was actually the item roulette system, or the item system in this game, which basically, if you ever play this on the Wii U version at all, you're going to be stuck in with just only one item per use. But in this particular version of Mario Kart 8, specifically Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you get yourselves the 2 item slots into your disposal. It's kind of like the same thing for how it does it in Mario Kart Double Dash back on the Nintendo GameCube. And similar to the forms of those item boxes, as you can see right there, that it allows you to either pick up 1 or 2 of them at the same time. A reference to the forms of Mario Kart Double Dash, which to me is pretty cool though, except the biggest differences between the two is the fact that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is only a single car per player and stuff, which unlike Double Dash though, is the fact that you can either just drive all alone, or you can able to have a partner with you, so that you can able to let one player can do tossing items at some opponents else from the back or the front, or you can able to actually let another player can do the driving and vice versa. But that's as far as I can usually think about it. And also about the fact that, as you can see on some tracks, as you can see right there, that we actually going to be coming across into the next track in this game, which is Sweet Sweet Canyon. In fact, this particular track reminds me of so much of that one specific scene in the majority of Wreck-It Ralph, where basically it almost inspires by the Sugar Rush environment, which is usually based around from the arcade machine from the likes of the arcade game based off from Wreck-It Ralph, which is actually pretty cool. But even then though, that's as far as I can usually think about it. And also, as you can see on the bottom left corner of the screen, that coins do make a return ever since in Super Mario Kart, as well as Mario Kart Super Circuit, as well as the forms of Mario Kart 7, where basically, once again, coins laying about on in certain parts of the track. And just like the forms of Mario Kart 7, is the fact that you can only carry 10 coins at a time. So, either way though, if you keep on thinking of Super Circuit, or especially noticeable with the first Mario Kart game on the Super Nintendo, which is of course Super Mario Kart, basically you can able to carry a whole bunch of coins. It depends on how much you're going to be getting. But that's not the case here on Mario Kart 7, and especially noticeable in this game. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it for the time being. So either way, as to be expected though, is the fact that the entire core gameplay aspect returning ever since during the likes of Mario Kart 7 and vice versa, does manage to able to actually just make its return here. So, yeah, which I think is pretty obvious for this point. I do apologize with the lack of commentary for this point, folks, because if you do not know already, I think I actually got my little bit of a headache at the moment, which I'm also able to make myself better entering at some point during tomorrow, because originally this was going to be the forms of the majority of the weekend uploads, because either way, because we feel like doing the same thing for how it does it for Super Mario Party, where me and Pinkie Pie did manage to able to actually tackle for that game for about almost like 2 months ago at this point right now. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and in fact, about the fact that since we've already done the previous Mario Kart redo Let's Plays, specifically Mario Kart, oh my god, we got the returning blue spiny shells, of course. But that doesn't stop there on the other hand though, because not only does this game actually brings back some of the familiar items for those of you who ever played the previous entries in the series, like you still got the usual the banana peels, green shells, red shells, mushrooms, gold mushrooms, and, you name the rest. But in addition with those items makes a return, and of course the Fire Flower makes its debut ever since in the forms of Mario Kart 7, which that particular item makes its return. In addition with those items, we got ourselves these brand new items, which there were, let's just say the Burang Flower, and also the Piranha Plant, and also the Crazy 8, which is basically the equivalent to Lucky 7 from the likes of Mario Kart 7/Tour, and also finally perhaps the most overpowered item in the whole entire game, which appears to be the Super Horn. Now, relatively speaking, we did already got one from the very get-go from the likes of the water park stage. However, though, we didn't use it that often because what makes it super great with that specific power-up, or the actual item I should say, it allows you to able to destroy any kind of items, including red shells, green shells, and all kinds of stuff. But the most important of them all is the blue spiny shells. Now, you remember thinking about the fact that how annoying the blue spiny shells was supposed to be in the previous Mario Kart games? Well, you can now able to actually demolish them by simply using the Super Horn, which I think it did work, especially noticeable how the fact that it makes it super easy to able to actually come in first place, especially how this is on the Nintendo Switch version. That means that the item balance system is actually way more out there than the likes of how it does it on the Wii U version, because some people seem to able to come across into this common issue with the item system in the original Mario Kart 8 when the game first came out, that the only item they always seem to able to come across into, which is of course the actual coins, which coins can be super helpful though, like its predecessor, which is of course Mario Kart 7. Excuse me. And basically, because if you grab like 10 of those coins in that particular race, then you're able to actually add up your speed. Depends on how the fact that you would able to actually upgrade your speed most of your time. And yeah, let's just go ahead and use the Super Horn right now, because yeah, it actually demolishes any single projectiles, like any kinds of them, which I think is super handy though, especially it makes it easier for you to actually able to claim first place. And also, because we're going to be playing this on the Nintendo Switch version, not only does it able to actually bring something exactly the same elements as the Wii U version of the game back in 2014, they also bring us into ourselves 2 exclusive items for the Nintendo Switch version, which first of all we got ourselves the Boo makes its return ever since in Mario Kart DS, which this allows you to able to steal items from any single opponent. And a second and a final exclusive item on the Nintendo Switch version, which we're probably not going to show that off until whenever we show off the battle mode in this particular game, or specifically the Switch version of this game, until later down the road, which either way, that's as far as I can go for that. And of course, as you can see on screen, we're actually racing on to the final track in the Mushroom Cup in Mario Kart 8. That appears to be Thwomp Ruins, which that particular track is really cool though, because not only can you able to actually just to see how amazing the actual the aesthetics about the actual environment of this stage actually looks like, but it's also the fact that, well, I do really enjoy the music from time to time, but either way though, well, mention more now whenever we're able to actually talk about more details onto that. So, now at the end of each specific cups, then once again it allows you to able to see the actual award ceremony screen. But however though, it doesn't do this traditional style than the likes of how it does it in, well, to be more specifically in the past Mario Kart games. Instead, they actually did something like, you call this like a Mario Kart TV thing, where basically it actually just allows you to see the actual true highlights of the actual race. Depends on what tracks you're going to be racing on. So, I don't mind about it too much though, because either way though, because this game does able to actually offers us the actual replay editing system, which is pretty cool, but we'll mention more on that during it at some point tomorrow. So either way, yeah, we did manage to claim ourselves first place on the Mushroom Cup, and we'll go ahead and end things off at this point here. So join us tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's the fact that we are moving on to the Flower Cup next. So, yeah, should be exciting. So see you guys tomorrow. Later, fellas. See you then.